Misrepresentation of classical music is always upsetting to the practitioners of this art, as we have already surrendered ourselves to it, or that's the attempt, and we have become that. But recently there's some events which has created a predisposition here with me that I have to come here and explain some of the ideas that I approach these kind of situations with. So to begin with, I want you to understand what is criticism. Criticism is quite a valuable and important intellectual practice. Very important. Because it requires some strength, not just some, but lots of strength at the end of the critic, who criticizes with a due understanding that eventually there will be a repelling of the criticism, and the criticism will obviously be taken as an offense, and then the critic will be under a disposition to very responsibly justify and say why what he opines to will actually benefit or is better for the person, artist, musician, or an institution. So criticism, if you criticize once in life, you will have the necessity, or you will have the duty to stand beside it throughout and even take it further. Okay, so it's like you're committed to what you have said. There's commitment in that. But sarcasm is different. Sarcasm is an act of weaks, where criticism requires some bravery, some courage. Criticism, on the other hand, sarcasm is an action of weaks. People who just want to say, who wants to talk to this person over this side, but will face that way and say things here, will not directly attack somebody, will attack with an idea, will attack with just the embossery of something, the shadow of something, not the real thing, will not show strength enough that later on, if what they have produced, the sarcasm, stirs enough controversy or backlashing, they can easily just step out of it and they say, we didn't mean this. Or we can just say, oh, it's a very arbitrary idea and we have nothing to do with it. So this is sarcasm. Now, this advertisement happens where some cricketer presents this idea that I was only meant to do cricket and I'm only good at that. If I was supposed to do something else, I will be terrible at it. Well, classical music is a cliche because esoteric ideas like classical music will always be cliche for creating these kind of humorous plots to attract the crowds and then present an idea and sell something. Or it just stands out. It's so beautiful, classical music. The light that it has, even in its very humorous, comical presentation, just attracts people and just paints something in their mind. So now they always use it. And once a while, you will see slowly it will lose its novelty because it will become too cliche. So he says that I am horrible at classical music because I don't know how to even sit properly, how to sing, how to do sa. Despite that, I will go on the stage and I will insult myself. This advertisement has nothing where it said that Indian classical music is not good. But we people become too radical and fanatic. That does not suit classical music, first of all. So now, understand this, that this is a sarcasm that is being played, not criticism of classical music. But problem is that we don't understand how to respond to things. We become very reactive in all our feelings because we We have exalted ourselves into our feeling so much into this very high sensitive being, which can be set to a blaze with just one spark. So we react to it and we just very radically defend it and fight it and become very defensive. But objectivity requires us to do something else here. Sarcasm deserves a reply in sarcasm, even if you want to reply, because, okay, there's a justifiable idea that a wrong action must be condemned so that it does not spread. And they say the worst thing that happens is not bad people doing bad things, but good people not stopping, good people remaining silent at it. So of course it's necessary, but the right approach is needed. So many people, when I said that maybe we should just take it humorously, many people did not understand what I meant. And I don't sit here because I felt that I am not understood. I feel the idea that I'm talking about deserves you all deserve a chance to really look at things in that way. It's not my own defense. I know where I am, what's happening. So sarcasm should be answered with sarcasm. Criticism should be answered with more pedagogical personality, and being should come to this hall of criticism and answer to that. Now, this cricket, I'm not into cricket ever. I was never. And cricket does not really imply to something that has to be respected in my understanding. And because I have lived a life and I have been educated and I have been given some critical thinking, which I have to take credit because I have that, and it's normal, it's nothing great about it, tells me that cricket is just another thing that we human beings do out of our egos. So this Rishabh Panth or whatever he is, he's only good enough for his egos. Every child wants to just practice movement of their limbs and all that, and that becomes sport and games. Now, if a country has a staple sport of cricket and everybody is trying to feed and nurture their physical movements and momentums that your body demands through that, of course, that mechanical setup will actually produce some people who will do it better. So this cricketer is just another one of them, and there have been many, and it does not truly require something more than a mechanism and little bit of intelligence which comes with repetition and a strong sense of some physical aspects of field and all that. Very competitive in nature, competition, war, all that, trying to just make somebody feel less good and one feeling better that I can defeat you. So it's not really a very virtuous thing. Cricket is useless. When it comes to really telling that, oh, humanity means this, there's no human aspect in cricket. Humanity means feelings, love, passion, service, your individual expansion of your expression. What is sports? Sport is just because now we cannot hunt and run behind deers and all the animals, so now we're gonna run behind a ball or something. We cannot hit people with a stick, so we're gonna hit ball. Very violent thing. Sports is violence in a very subtle form. Be it boxing or be it gulli danda or be it anything, it's violence. So okay, it's part of our world that we live in, and I say okay, that's fine, but I have better things to do because I have classical music to do. So now this guy goes there and does this advertisement. It does not move a single cell in my body, because who is this guy after all? Not a musician, not a feeling being. So if he says something, he's saying doing out of ignorance. And ignorance does not really require me to stand here and say something more than just laughing out at it. Okay? So this is a sarcastic reply which is well deserved, because cricket is what? I think there's more value in the word when it talks about the insect than when it talks about this group of 11 players trying to fight against 11. Where's individual in that? What is your relationship with cricket? What is your relationship with entertainment, competition and entertainment, and whatever it might be? But it's not like music where you are trying to become this entire universe and sing those melodies which actually does not mean anything to a society, but to an individual who listens to it, and that his perspective becomes the game, a game of freedom, without any fields, any pitches, any reasonable numbers of innings, balls, blah blah blah. It's freedom. So now, do you want somebody who sits on this great throne, this very high pedestal, to walk down and fix these things? I've seen some great musicians talking about this, that this should not happen, this has been happening and all that. Oh, you people are beyond that. You're transcendent beings. The greatest reply in this case especially is just to say, okay, fair enough. What else? What else can be expected from you people? Sheeps. What can you expect from crowds? From people who are driven by their idea that, okay, music means this and setup means this. If they did not think of it on their own, now 100 people going there and trying to remind them that this is culture and this is that is not worth it. So the response has to be right. Okay? Be this grown up who just looks at like kids having fun at the playground and they're enacting different things that grown-ups do, and you don't go there and try to teach them a lesson. No, this is not fair. Just know that they're kids, they're ignorant and they're innocent and all that. If it's gonna harm classical music, no. It cannot even touch it. Cannot even touch the shadow of it. It cannot reach something so embossed, so inscripted in the existence itself. This very shallow, this very less intense wind, not even wind, a draft of human ego cannot erode these inscriptions in the heart and soul of a human being. So it does not touch anything. Neither it do any harm to the image. Because image, what is image? Image is how people perceive it. What people? Those who are yet to understand what it is. People who understand what it is will always know it what it is. Secondly, if there is a genuine desire to learn this, even if it is shown that it is the worst thing to do in the world, that seeker will still find it. Okay, the argument is, there's a logical argument that young minds and all that get shaped by this. Do you imagine a world where everybody is a musician? If you do, welcome, you are living in this world right now, where anybody can go to a studio and record a song and start an album and without singing skills and all that. Right? Are we not living in a world like that, where music is more accessible, becoming a musician is more easier, becoming a singer and reaching masses, and that's working quite well for these kind of people who just go to studio and record, right? Has that made any change in anybody who really wants to go deeper at whatever stage life may be? No. So idea that, oh, because children were shown this and that will never allow them to really seek a deeper expression if they have, is also, it nullifies it. So that is what I meant when I said that yes, classical music is and will be and was this eternal stream which you cannot stop by any boulder, anything. It just finds its own way through it. Why? You know why? Because it's so subtle. You cannot grasp it with these fingers and these solid things, because it's very subtle. It will slip through it. Anything that appears to be very, very worldly, very mundane, very menial, very boulder-like, very objectified and all that, that has no relation to it, will do no harm to it. So this positivity and optimism will only benefit it. So I want to see that in you all. And forgive me if I still don't align with your view, but I still want to say that what I am saying is right. And it takes few steps to climb a mountain and see the other side. I say that not in any expectation that I want to be considered right or wrong. I say that I trust this philosophy, this idea, this understanding, so you can also trust it. I'm just opening the doors that you will not be the only one if you are already seeing the things this way. I have this belief in it, in this understanding, in this divinity of classical music or music itself.